Best.Podcast.Ever is sponsored by the Gertzberg Law Firm, a full-service business law firm in Cleveland and Chagrin Falls that's changing the way businesses retain their attorneys. Go to gertzberglaw.com to learn more. While you're there, check out Cover My Six, a complete legal audit of the 6 areas that most often create or prevent business lawsuits and government investigations. Go to covermysix.com to learn how we keep you safe. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to listen to the best podcast ever recorded.
And they know our clients, and our clients know their voices, and they see them in town and around town too. So we just try to keep it real.
You okay, Molly Gebler?
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Molly Gebler. How are you?
I'm fantastic. And you?
Good. You look fantastic.
I know. I will tell you, Alex, it has not been a good night at the Gebler house.
No.
Yeah.
Why? What happened?
Dog has fleas.
Is that a metaphor for something else?
No, that is straight up dog has fleas.
Really?
Yes. And I went through parenting of 2 children, never dealt with lice, escaped that, and Sunday night, my husband and I are picking through the fleas off our dog.
Do you...
Disgust. I mean, I'd rather just give the dog away. Just kidding. I don't want any phone calls from the dog lovers. I don't do well with that kind of stuff.
Do you need a special comb for that like you do with kids and lice?
I ran to Drug Mart at 9:30 last night when I discovered. And I think I literally took my arm and just went on the aisle with all the flea stuff and knocked it into my cart. I had texted our bug guy and Dr. Morse, who's texted me back and said, "You just bring Brooklyn to Uncle Morris and her godfather will take care of it." We took off all the sheets. We threw blankets. I would rather just throw it all away and rebuy. We washed our bed stuff, but like any other blanket, thank God that we don't have much we don't have carpet, but now I'm learning that they land on just the ground. And so
Wow.
I am just...
Have you been itching at all since then?
All day long today.
And it's probably just all in your head, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I don't care.
Right. That sucks, Molly.
Yeah, so
Gebler.
Aardvark is handling the house. She was at Dr. Morris's at 9 a.m. this morning. I went to Drug Mart and bought a box, which I put in my SUV so she couldn't come in the front seat with me. I just don't want anything to do with her.
That
so
is
John
a rough
just
night.
picked her up, called. They said that they've defleed her. But they're lying in my house waiting for her to come back home to jump back on her, like the little egg things or whatever.
Do they have mobile defleeing units that can come to your house?
It's very expensive to get your house
Fumigated?
And it's a nightmare. I mean, it's a nightmare.
That sucks. Yeah,
Not
no,
happy.
there's...
So what am I doing tonight? I'm going to the movies.
Good for you.
Yeah, I can't handle it. Speaking of movies,
Can't
do
believe
you want to say something to me?
I think that you're crazy.
We called you from the movie theater. Okay, folks. So my sister and I, after Alex's rave review,
I said, go see A Simple Favor. I said, go see it.
It was, to me,
I loved it.
it was like Scream or...
But smarter.
No, it was it was very basement taped and I can't explain. Scream is how I want to explain.
Are you sure you
it.
didn't walk into a different movie and thought it was A Simple Favor? I
mean,
loved
I think
it.
at the beginning it was great,
Mm-hmm.
and then and I don't want to blow any. There were a couple things where I looked at my sister. I'm like, wait, isn't it been a week since she's been dead? And somebody's moving in, and I was like, I mean, it was just so, and not that I get it's the movies, and I understand that, but like even the hitting of the car, like that was so basement taped. It was just so, I don't know. Yeah.
It's so interesting to me because I thought that was one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Really?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved the characters and the script. There were definitely a couple times when I thought this was
so sexy.
She is so sexy. Yeah. Whatever her face is.
Blake.
But for the most part, we watched it and thought it was just such a clever series of plot twists all the way through.
I knew the whole time. Everything.
We have very different
Yeah.
tastes in movies, obviously.
I'm going to see either The Wife tonight.
What's The Wife?
The Wife is with Glenn Close and Christian Slater. Or I'm going to see that movie that was written by This Is Us, which is called, I can't remember.
Okay.
It's $5 movie night.
At
I don't want to go home to my flea-ridden house.
Or at Chagrin?
At Chagrin.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, anywho, I'm sorry you didn't like it because I definitely hyped it up. I feel a little bit,
No, so did
other people hyped it up.
So did
too.
Emily. Emily said it's mind.
So Emily loved it.
Mind effing. Yeah,
Mind
that's
effing,
what
yeah.
that's what Emily said.
Emily, I'm with you on this.
I wanted to be mind effed, but I was just
You were just
So my sister and I had to call you right then and there. We were literally, there was only 2 other people in the whole theater, but
Gotcha.
we called you right from our seats.
So Molly.
Yes, Alex Gertzberg.
Who happened to just walk in the door?
I tell you, with this
out of the blue, looking fantastic
lime green
as always, by the
and
way.
black rain jacket is none other than our 2 episodes ago, Christi George.
By the way, I just listened to that episode.
So funny.
Hilarious. Folks, what you want to
funny.
do is go back and listen to that episode because it's
It's so
ridiculous.
funny.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
funny.
you're going to want to get right up close to the
Welcome,
mic
Christy. Get close to the microphone.
We would love to take some photographs of the interview that you have
Yes, is she
coming
coming?
in.
She's sitting
She's
right out
here.
there. She's
Has
waiting.
someone greeted her or said hello?
We've been very rude. We have a 4th mic. We could let Christy be a guest interviewer with us. Do you want to stick around, Christy?
How could I resist
Right?
that?
If you said, no, I got a thing right now, Molly and I would be very dejected.
I know.
I'm gonna
not doing it.
All right, let's get back into this, Molly Gebler.
Back to business.
This is a big day because we have a guest interviewer along with our guest. We're going on 4 mics up in
I
here.
love your microphone stand, Alex.
Thanks, Molly.
It's
It's a little bit.
so tiny.
I'm a little shy with it right now. It looks like it just had a cold shower.
I want everybody to know that it's been 20 minutes before Alex made some sort of inappropriate sexual comment.
You're projecting. All right, let's get down to business. So, what's just happened? So, our good
so
friend.
many things happened.
I know it's been a whirlwind already.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe we should go on break. All right. So, who do we have with us here today,
oh my
Molly
gosh.
Gebler?
None other than Miss Kim from Skala Insurance.
The notorious KIM.
Bainbridge. And I actually just learned that you guys have another location. So I learned something right off the bat.
Yeah.
So Bainbridge is 50 years. 50 years. And my favorite part is 5 generations of customers. That
Yes.
makes my heart full.
It makes me proud and humble at the same time.
What kind of insurance? Tell us.
Well, most insurances, unless it's health insurance, because our agency stepped out when Obamacare went down.
Okay.
But all other insurances, we can find a market. We're moving toward an independent state in the next year and a half, so we'll have even more markets available to us.
So when did you start? I mean, you're not old. And you're young.
You're
so
a spring chicken.
Yeah. So your dad started it?
Sure. In 1969, John Skala, my dad, opened his doors out of Jogga County and has been in Jogga County ever since, and went beating on doors, running out of apartment complexes with no soliciting signs, the whole 9 yards, walking uphill both ways in the rain or the snow, that kind of story.
No shoes.
When I was a kid, that's all I knew was that Dad was the insurance guy, and he had late appointments. And at that
It was
point,
more door to door back.
it was.
back
I mean,
then,
he
for
would go
sure.
collect premiums every Saturday.
Oh my God.
I know. So it was a strange.
It's like a paper route.
It was,
Yeah.
but I mean, life insurance, that's how you would collect the premiums back then. You had to have the actual cash. They didn't let you pay in credit card.
Wow, that's crazy.
So he founded Skala. He was the original Skala and
He is.
Skala Insurance. Is he still around?
Yes, he is happily retired in Florida with my mother,
Okay.
and they have a condo, and they are coming to visit this weekend. So I'm very much looking forward to their visit.
Do you search for his approval?
No, mostly we have a standing meeting, he and I still, every Thursday, where sometimes it's just shoot the stuff together and
You can
touch
swear.
about shoot the shit.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I didn't know if I was allowed to swear on
Yeah,
these.
yeah, we're
My mouth sometimes does
R-rated.
that, but
yeah.
we shoot the shit a lot, and just on Thursdays. Sometimes we actually review cases that I'm working on where he wrote them, and I need to ask him why or what he thought or what was his next plan for that
It's a
particular
You're
case.
Skyping with him. You're on the phone with
We do
him. or-
just voice phone.
Okay.
He's not that technically inclined to Skype or FaceTime, so I'm lucky I get the weekly phone call audio.
I love that you talk weekly. I
Yeah.
love that.
I
We've
thought
always
when
been really
you-
close,
I
so.
thought when you asked Kim if she is seeking her dad's approval, if you meant that like in the Freudian way.
Oh,
Like,
they are
No.
big shoes to fill. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he was in his career in the top 5% of the agents. And
Really?
he qualified 20 years out of his 28 years to be that top 5%,
Wow.
which qualified him into the Nationwide Hall of Fame agents. And there's only a handful of those.
Those are some,
And so
yeah.
those people still gather once a year to celebrate their history with Nationwide, and they have an annual Nationwide thing that those people in the Hall of Fame still go to.
And how long did you and your dad work together?
10 years. I apprenticed and prepared, and 2004 I started as an associate agent. I went from a corporate job where they were going to offer me, almost 3-figure salary to babysit about 6 other people. And
I would do that for 6 figures.
I know,
Absolutely. That
but
sounds-
my satisfaction level wasn't going to be fulfilled, Alex.
Sure.
Because I am in a position where I like to educate people and help them understand what it is they're needing.
Yeah.
Not, well, how many breaks did you have today?
Right.
It wasn't going to
Yeah, no,
satisfy me.
I was being
Right.
facetious. Yeah. Babysitting requires you to be almost robotic and mechanical. And
Right.
I think to be satisfied with your job, you really have to have a lot of judgment and discretion
Sure.
and growth and challenge. Right?
Absolutely. And every day is different in my line
Yeah.
of work, which makes it even more exciting. So I love getting up and going to my job because I make my schedule. But there's times when things happen and you have to juggle. And because of the nature of my business, I can make things move to where they would be better suited. Or every day you learn something new in the industry too. They're changing the rules with the Department of
Yep.
Insurance. You have to be hip on all the changes that are coming, just like I'm
Right.
sure in your profession.
Right.
You just have
Not
to know.
mine. It just goes smooth.
Hey,
Um,
technology changes for you.
That's right. That's right. I want to talk about, because I think a lot of family-owned businesses go through this. You have a mother or father that's been there forever, blood, sweat, and tears. They're older. They're kind of not with the times, and you get the young child in the business.
Sure.
So there's got to be so many challenges with relinquishing the
Absolutely.
the
Well, I
handing it
worked
off
with
and-
10 years for him as the manager of this Bainbridge location. And my sister, Chris, who's passed away, was managing our Manaway office. So it was the sisters under the father, the daughters running the show, and he was, trying to prepare us to partnership and buy the business. So we lost her unexpectedly, and I had to regroup. And it took us till 2014, the first of 2014, for me to actually do the switch over and change. But in the process of that, I've learned I was a peer with my workers, And now I'm a superior, and I've been friends with all of these women and a couple guys, and now I'm their boss. So that was a challenge. And one of the people was my aunt. So it's like family and
You've got
friends and
layers of complexity
different
there.
things happening where it hasn't been as difficult as I thought it would be because everybody was expecting it and it was coming. It wasn't like Dad
This
didn't
is a
pass
10-year
away, like
process.
we had it planned. But there's still some things that right the minute I took ownership, I'm like, okay, this is what's going to change. And I made some changes. I made changes on how the people were compensated because they weren't being compensated for the actual work they were doing. It was hourly, old school. You're not getting tied to the jobs you're doing. You need to be compensated for the production you create. What you're giving to the office, you should be compensated for equally. Another thing I changed was my biggest beef when Dad was the man was the computers, like the technology. If something happened with a computer, it's like you were down for a week, okay? So we had an insured that owned a computer software repair business, and I said, Chris, hey, I need to be on your roll. So if anybody in my people have problems, they can call you, and 24/7, I need to have working laptops, computers, whatever. So first thing I did was signed up with a computer technical support group, and so far it's been wonderful. It's like the best decision I ever made coming on as the new agent because we've used them numerous times for many different things, and we're so thankful but that wasn't something you did back in the day.
Right, well, because we didn't have them.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
there's files in my office with carbon copy in them still from back in the 70s when they did the carbon copy applications.
Wow.
And you look through the file and your hands get all black because they're still in there and you have to keep certain things forever
Right.
in our business.
Kim, what is the what is the difference in the customer experience when they are with you versus when they are with any of the other million insurance agents out
Sure.
there?
Well, we take each person as a person and we get to know you and your family or your business or whatever it is that you're interested in insuring before we even give you numbers. I mean, we sit down face to face if we can, if that's doable for the people we're working with, because we need to know you. Like, I can't just recommend an insurance package to you if I just see your deck page from American Family. I mean, that's not who you are. And furthermore, we still answer our phones, which is rare in the market because you call any insurance agency and you're going to get the press 1 for service, press 2 to pay your bill. We still have people answering our phones. You can get someone at one of our offices during our hours 9 out of 10 times, unless we're all on the phone or at lunch.
Right.
But and people can expect a 24-hour callback from us, which I've heard horror stories of other agencies that never call you back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my expectations of the people in my team are you have a 24-hour turnaround, and I have yet to hear a complaint that hasn't happened.
What about when someone has a claim?
Claims are priority. Typically, when a claim comes in, we try to get them to the claim center if they're ready to file with documentation. We coach our clients to call us first versus other companies. If a loss happens, you have to call it in. You need to talk to me or my agents to find out the particulars behind your claim and how the best, because sometimes it's going to be under deductible or not even covered. And you need to know if you should even make a claim. So we coach our clients to call us first so that we can give them some advice, which a lot of agents don't, from what I understand.
I was just going to toss it over to our new guest interviewer today.
I was wondering if you coach them to call you right away. What if there's an accident or something in the middle of the night?
Well, I mean, at that point, we say, let us know as soon as you can. But if you
first
have to get a tow and you need to start the claim, do that. I mean, there's situations, but most of the time I'm referring to like those homeowner claims where it's wind and they can wait a minute. If it's an emergency, I mean, obviously call the hotline, get your tow, get your vehicle off the road, be safe.
Call 911.
Right.
But I love that you're asking them you're the go-to.
Well, what else would we be there for?
Right.
We're their agent, and that's gone to the wayside, in my opinion, in our market.
So that's what makes you very different.
We try to be very different. Education is number 2 on our plate. Come to us, we'll help you, and let's educate you on what coverage do you have. Well, why do you need that coverage? Oh, this is why.
Plus, you're embedded in the community. A lot of your clients are in the community. So
Sure.
when you're shopping, you're running into your clients, and you want to make sure that you're doing the best that you can for them.
It's about integrity, and if people don't believe you have integrity, you're not going to go far.
You told your dad, I don't want to be. I don't want to sell insurance.
No, I did not. I went to college and I got a finance degree, and I went to work for the company nationwide. And I was an underwriter, and I was the person that the agents called, and I would tell them no very nicely, or yes, but. So those were the way I trained in the trenches for the agency job, really, because I played that side of the coin for 4 years. And then I went to Columbus downtown in nationwide and worked on tech support and was the liaison for Nationwide's tech team to build the agency's front end of how to sell the auto and the home policies. So I had been in Dad's office working phone girl, file girl. I knew their system, so I was invaluable
Free
behind
help
the
girl.
scenes, right? College paid girl, what? Sending me to college, got to get the money in,
Right.
So it was good for me to have that experience to help build the front end of the sales. Now, of course, that I'm in the sales field, the front end's all different again. What I helped put into force is gone. But having that behind me was excellent experience to then step into agency.
We got to pause on that, Molly and Christy. That's big, what she just said, because as some people know, like, I try really hard only to hire lawyers who have had both outside counsel and in-house counsel experience, right? Who have worked for businesses or own their own businesses themselves. And I think that having been the underwriter, having worked for the insurance carrier,
Yes.
that hat that you wore gives you a perspective that most of your peers will never have.
Exactly.
Right? You know how the sausage is made.
Yes.
You know what the underwriter is more likely to approve or reject in terms of claims and in terms of like premium proposals, right?
Yep.
And do you find that perspective gives you an edge, and do you use that edge?
Yes. So with my staff, my team, they know that I've had this experience. So when they are looking at a new risk, they might have like this nagging feeling about something about it, and they'll run it by me, and I'll be like, oh, well, you need to check this and that came from my underwriting hat days, or you need to go to this website, and that came from my technical support days, to reference something that they wouldn't have known. You don't know what you don't know. You have to have a point of reference.
So for the kids at home that don't really get the chain of command and the hierarchy, right? So you are an agent.
Yes.
And you have an agency.
Yes.
And the reason that you're an agent is because you sell insurance for insurance companies who
Correct.
are carriers.
Yes.
You, prior to being an agent, worked for those carriers.
Yes.
Right? And that was nationwide, I guess, right?
Yes.
So in terms of the entire sort of food chain, right?
Sure.
From the customer, they buy from the agent a product that is provided by a carrier. You can give insight because you worked for that carrier.
Yes.
As well as being an agent.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
You
I'm not
did.
that
You
smart,
did. No,
Molly.
you're good.
Well, I know that.
I've got to restate things like I'm a 4-year-old to make sure I understand them, and that's
5.
Right.
I'll give you 5.
Right, thank you.
But so then I think this is probably a common question, maybe not, but how do you make your money? How does an agent make their money? Because they're not getting paid by Alex and I. We come to you.
So you come to me and I sell you a homeowner's insurance policy. And let's say the premium is $1,000 for the year. Our agency makes between 10 and 15% commission off of that new business annual premium.
From the agency.
The company. So
Carrier.
I give the company $1,000 and they give me back $100
Okay.
in commission.
And when it's renewed,
Then I get the renewal commission. And renewals are at less commission,
Right.
but it's the longevity and the retention that you're looking for in our business.
Does that guide you are you only one? Are you only nationwide, or
We're going to be more. So
Okay.
right now, I am only nationwide. I'm captive and an exclusive agent to Nationwide. Nationwide's moving in a direction where they are encouraging and providing the platform for all exclusive agents to become independent agents. We are being told this is going to happen. By July 1st, 2020, I'll be an independent agent. So I will have a platform of other companies that I'm currently researching right now, a year and a half out, in order to find that rater where I have the companies that are best rated for the areas that we serve here.
Right.
So it takes some research where you have to say, well, what are your rates in Portage County? What are your rates in Jaga? Well, how about Cuyahoga? We got a really big part of our book out of those 3 counties. And then decide which ones we want to work through, because you don't have to get appointed to each company. You can be appointed with a brokerage house that has 7 or 8 companies they can write with. And that way you don't have the production requirements of each individual company.
does that, if you have all these different companies, do they give out certain sales or discounts
Sure.
or bonuses so
Sure.
that you're
So when I will be an
selling them?
independent agent, Nationwide's bonus structure will be better because
Because
they want me to
business.
continue to do what I've been doing for years, writing mostly
So
them.
why would they even allow you?
They said the model of the insurance agency is going away from exclusivity and becoming more of an independent scenario, and that's the way of the agency in the world it's going. I mean, to be exclusive to one company really limits you.
Sure.
And if I can't make your nationwide rates look great, you're going to go down the road. I don't want
Right.
you to go down the road. I want to keep you in my house.
Right.
I want to have options. Right now, we have a brokerage house that we work with that we're allowed to, that we can, but the companies that this house uses aren't necessarily the preferred companies that would be best in our area. So we'll know how to do the program. We just have to figure out which platform we want to be on, and that's part of my research right
So
now.
I have to ask you a question. and Maybe you don't know because you have been exclusive with Nationwide for so long. But when I think of Safe Auto and I think of Geico,
Yes.
back in the day, if you couldn't get insurance, you could get Safe Auto or you
Sure.
could get Geico.
Sure.
But now they're huge companies with a huge marketing budget out there, and I'm always confused on how they've actually now become a competitor in the insurance business.
Sure. And so we have company that we work with, Progressive, for instance. That's one of the ones that we can do. Standard companies have eligibility. So if you have 3 at-fault accidents in the last 3 years, standard companies aren't going to take you. You have to do a Geico or a Progressive or a non-standard market type of policy. So most companies enter the auto insurance industry as a non-standard provider because that's the biggest market share and the biggest premium dollars per policy. And then they try to expand into the property lines. So Progressive's been in the auto line for quite some time, and they've gotten quite a large market share. Well, they've entered the home line. And my agency has chosen not to sell the Progressive home yet because we are a little bit conservative and we don't think they have the experience to handle claims yet. They don't have that experience or how to properly provide a homeowner's package that's comparable to the standard market. They're still learning, but they're
Right.
coming on. So maybe that would be one that we would look at getting appointed because you obviously get the best discounts when you have everything with one
Multiple,
company.
right? Bundling
Yes.
it. I'm impressed just with the fact that you're researching a year and a half before you're, this is coming on. You're, a little hesitant on Progressive.
It's a lot of moving parts.
I mean, it just shows that you care about the product that you are going to be giving or selling.
We have to believe in what we're
Yeah.
selling, and we have to know what it's about before we go out there and sell it. I'm not going to back something that doesn't have something of merit.
Right.
What do you think, Christy?
Well, I'm interested from the vantage point of being a business owner.
Sure.
So you have a lot that you are responsible for with 2 offices.
Sure,
I don't know
yes.
how many. You said
7
it's
employees total,
7
including me.
employees total. Okay. So in the many different hats that you wear,
Sure.
how much of your time is spent specifically selling to new clientele?
Well, it's funny you should ask that because I asked myself that question recently. I've been doing some business coaching with one of my friends through a women's group. And I learned that my job changed when I became the owner. I have to be dad. I have to go out there and reel them in. I'm like the little fisher.
Yeah.
I have to be in the public eye. I have to go to events. I have to be out there supporting the community. And it's not that I have to. I want to. I enjoy that part of the job. But I spend a lot of time attending events and getting leads. And I probably quote 1 out of 5 leads that I personally get, and I delegate.
Excellent.
That's when you're sponsoring, you're working it.
Yeah,
you know?
we do. We
She
try.
brings the balloons and the swag, and
Yeah.
you know, I mean, she makes her booth attractive.
Getting visual in the community. So the balloons running around the field at the
That was
concert in
so
the park was really justifying.
Christy, I'm sorry, you had a follow-up question?
Well, it just in line with that, when you took over and you made those 2 major changes, one to compensation,
Sure.
and the other one was to technology. I
Yes.
wondered what you saw as far as a change towards the business from your employees.
Well, everyone
how did
had
that
more
pivot?
meat in it. Everyone was more accountable for what they were putting on the books. Renewals became a bigger deal because I was giving them each a piece of their renewal now instead of just the company eating the renewal. So a percentage of renewal and then a larger percentage of new business, direct written premium. Like they get a cut from the actual. So if they write a $2,000 premium policy on a high value home, they're going to get the higher cut because that was harder work. Took them longer. Those are harder policies to sell.
And you appreciated that based on
Being the person in
yeah,
their seat. And I'd
for
write
sure.
a $2,000 case and a $200 case, and I'd get the same point towards my goal. We were on points. I was like, I don't know if that's working out for me so much.
So the employees had a much bigger stake.
Yes.
And they were being compensated for it.
Sure.
Excellent.
Yeah, that was
Nice
the goal.
job.
Thank you.
What do you think the hardest thing about running your business is?
Juggling. I'm a juggler.
Plate spinning.
Yes, I'm spinning a lot of plates. And that goes to say that I've got 2 locations and 2 children, a husband, a dog, and 4 cats as well. And those are all part of my juggling act. So I'm really a real big circus. But needless to say, I
I thought you were going to say, so I'm really a really big clown.
I am a big clown. That would have been great. I like the
says
juggle.
the clown.
I thrive on the juggle. Sometimes I'm stressed, but aren't we all? But I wouldn't have it any other way. I think that it has to be like that for you
Yeah.
to be a growing individual. You have to juggle things and learn and experience new, even if it knocks you down and you got to brush off and get up. I mean, you have to try new things.
Christy, what's the hardest thing about running Neighbors?
Absolutely the juggling aspect of it. What I like most is the selling aspect of it, but making sure that it all gets done and you're putting out a top-notch product.
Yeah,
Then you are juggling all the time.
right.
Do you think that that is a challenge that is worth simplifying, or do you think juggling is just built into being a business
Well, I
owner?
have simplified my juggling since becoming the owner in 14. I was the type of person that if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself, right? A very hands-on individual, and that's just who I am. So I've had to learn to delegate.
Yeah.
I've had to teach myself that skill. That's not something I'm good at, so I work on it daily. But it really has saved me many, many, many times to be able to delegate and have confidence in my team that they have the skills to do what needs done, and they do. And that's what the beauty is. I mean, I have people who have been with the agency for 15 years, and I have people that have been with us for 5 years, but no less. Like, we don't have a lot of turnover because we treat our people right that work for us and hopefully compensate them in a way that makes more sense. And they know our clients, and our clients know their voices, and they see them in town and around town too. So we just try to keep it real.
Yeah, we've been doing this thing over here called Unique Ability Teamwork, where we so I have one-on-ones with everybody. Like, I try once a month to meet with all of my people, just me and them one-on-one. And in this current round of one-on-ones, what we're doing is I interview them and I ask them what activities, what tasks they do in their job that they look forward to the most and that gives them the most energy and that they're most excited about. And then conversely, what things about their job have the opposite effect that they don't look forward to. It just drains them of energy. And then what we're doing is we're trying to create sort of this tapestry here where all of the activities in this company are sorted and delegated to the people that have the most excitement and the most energy and are also have the most unique ability. They're uniquely capable to do those things. So like, for example, a piece of litigation, right, has finite, discrete, compartmentalized tasks, right? There's drafting of court filings and pleadings, there's going to pretrial hearings, there's drafting discovery requests, taking depositions, et cetera. There's like 20 things that make up a lawsuit in general buckets, right? So what we're starting to do is not have one person do all 20 things, because there are some things that other people are better at them to do. And so what we're moving towards is having a team approach to every matter so that the person who is uniquely capable of doing a particular task is doing that task. And that way too, you have a greater, like a more elevated sense of excitement and energy from everybody, right? And then what we're sort of trying to figure out is, okay, if there are things that nobody is looking forward to doing, but somebody has to do anyway, how can we get either the person who can do it the fastest to do it, or outsource it entirely and get it out of our law firm,
Yes.
you know? And so it's something that I'm really proud of, because it is not a traditional law firm way of doing business, but it is how really successful companies delegate tasks.
Yes.
And I'm convinced that it can be transplanted to any kind of business of any size too.
I can see that. I've kind of done a little bit of that in our transition, as far as we have people who specialize in commercial insurance, like business insurance. We have people who are specialized in personal lines, auto and home, umbrella, life. I have a life specialist. Several of my agents are several of those specialists, though. Yeah. So we cross over a lot. And we have a monthly staff meeting. And one of the sections of the staff meeting always is, what did you learn?
Yeah.
What are you working on? And what would you do differently? And everybody has to have an answer, because we all learn from each other, because you don't experience the same exact scenario. And our business is so complex that when someone learns something, they're like, ooh, me, I learned something. And I'm like, bring it to the staff meeting, because then we'll all hear it at once and it'll be good. And it is good. We've all taken advantage of that.
You lost 35 pounds since November of last year. How?
Yes. I went to see Dr. Brittany Colley at the Chagrin Natural Health Clinic. Yeah. After she visited my agency, one of my staffs won a free spiel. And so
Isn't that right here?
Yes. No, it's up in Bainbridge behind Heinen's. Okay, by that Your Perfect Smile place or whatever. Sure. And so she came to my office spieling her deal from a free, we won our deal at the pulled your card, one of my staffers put in there. And everything she said in that thing was like she was talking to me, like I was the only person in the room. Are you tired? Do you not feel like it anymore? Are you over 40 and dragging? I had my hand up all day, okay? So I gave it a shot. I'm like, I will give it a 30-day trial. It's only X amount of dollars for the trial. And I just never stopped going because it was great. Muscle resistance testing to decide what your body's lacking. And so my adrenal glands were completely shut down, and I didn't know anything about these things when I was before this. And basically, they are like the nervous center of your body, and they make everything function properly. So if they're down, all your organs are off. Who knew I had all of my organs were off, right? So I had to take supplements, and I had to change my diet. But basically, the biggest change was the diet. So I just eat now animal protein, vegetables, and a splash of fruit. Not what can't I have or what don't I eat, but what can I eat?
What was the first thing?
Animal protein.
Oh.
So meat.
Right.
Any
right.
meat. Lunch meat, bacon, sausage,
Do you-
eggs.
Could you? I mean, it sounds like the big thing is you just took carbs off the.
Pretty much,
menu,
which is
right?
what paleo really
Right.
means. It's removing the cane sugar. So anything that has cane
Oh.
sugar in it. So I'm using the stevia sugar
Yeah.
base from stevia. And if you just remove your cane sugar, which is in all pastas and rice and breads.
What should my? Because I've thought about this.
Alex,
Sorry. What should my
not
self?
happy to see me.
I'm very. My diet is very similar to that, but man, I just can't pass up that pasta.
Well,
Man, I have a hard
I
time
went
saying no to
through
spaghetti.
since November 1st. I've been doing this, right? So
Yeah.
it's almost a year, and by then I'll be over close to 40 pounds. By then,
Amazing. Good for you.
thanks. It's been a trip, but it's a lifestyle change. It really is. It's like anything you do that you change. It's you have to mentally choose that change, right? And at first, I'm like, oh my god, I can't have pizza, and I was giving myself this "woe is me" party, right? But then I started feeling better, and I woke up without pain because she's a chiropractor too. So you go and you do the nutrition and then you do the chiropractic. Being in line is amazing. I never knew how amazing
yeah.
being in chiropractic line would be. So I've learned that I need that, which I had never been to a chiropractor in my life. So I tried something new twice, nutrition and chiropractic, and it's working. But in about January, I hit my detox moment. So your body's been taking supplements, you're eating better, and it's saying, I got to get the metals out of you, I got to get all the byproducts out of you. Your body absorbs
Yeah.
everything that you come in
Toxins.
contact with that are toxins.
Right.
So I had a detox about a week where, my body was messed up. I'll just say that. And then I got over it. And then it was like the clouds parted and the sun came out and I was eating the foods that tasted good. So before going on this plan, I could not eat things like green peppers, cantaloupe, spaghetti sauce would give me heartburn, all these things because my body had toxins in it that couldn't allow the foods that you're eating that are natural to be digested properly. And now I can eat all those foods with no problem.
And you still have to be with them. Why can't you go
I
and
could,
do all this stuff on your
but
own?
the supplements help me. So, for instance, before going on this plan, I would take Claritin or Allegra for my allergies. Well, there's a natural supplement that has no byproducts that I take instead. So I will be on a maintenance program, but it's way less than what it was to begin with and as price goes. And it's still worth it for me. I don't pay a doctor that much. I go once a year for my physical, but I go to the health clinic. That's my medical, and
Right.
none of it's covered, so don't talk to me about that. But it's making me feel better.
Right.
So when I go to the regular doctor, they're like, you dropped 35 pounds. Oh, you're no longer pre-diabetic. Oh, your cholesterol's down. Oh, you don't have high blood pressure. Thumbs up.
Right.
That's the intent. Because don't get me on a soapbox, but the regular medical industry isn't doing it for a lot of people.
Christy, do you eat carbs?
I do.
Do you? I was
I
going to
do.
say you
Not-
haven't had a carb in like 40 years.
No, I do. I do eat carbs, but I almost eat a paleo diet on a regular basis.
Except for the
And
carbs.
I don't eat much red meat at all. And last night I had a steak. Just saying. But that was only because I was under duress. But
What does that mean?
that means that my husband was gone for the weekend, and I ran out and I got 2 steaks to cook before, so that they would be ready when he got home.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
Too sweet.
most
That
of the
is nice.
time it's fish
Yeah.
and chicken, but I would rather have some kind of fish.
I
And-
would too, but my husband doesn't care for fish all that much, so we're pretty much
Now, did
the other white
he-
meat,
I
pork.
can't. I know I've met him.
Steve,
Does he need this?
he
Is he a big guy? I can't.
he did not need
Okay.
it, but
How is that?
He's got a back problem, so he's got pinched nerves on both his L5s. So I said go and try, and he
Right.
did. So he's on the program too.
Oh, that's
And so
great.
we thought the challenge would be our 6-year-old, right? No, she because we never introduced anything else to her. Like, it's not normal to have pasta every night to her. because that's not how we've been doing it. To
Right.
her, it's normal to have a meat and a vegetable and a splash of fruit.
Right.
That's just normal, and she loves the vegetables, and most kids don't. But ever since she could eat, we've been giving her all these things to try. So she likes her vegetables, and we're
Your
very lucky.
Spirit animal is a butterfly and an owl. How does one determine their spirit animal?
Well,
Do you do that, or is there a test on Facebook you take?
I selected the butterfly way back. I can't remember when, but it always makes me feel like that's how I want to feel, light and airy and beautiful, and always flooding around, kind of being social. That's how I like to portray myself, and I just, every time I'm always seeing butterflies or connecting with them, and they're just, and I have a tattoo of one. I just don't. That's just always been something that has been a part of my identity from as long as I can remember. Now the owls selected me, which is a strange story, but basically somebody told me that they felt that my spirit bird was the owl, and I was like, what are you talking about, And then you know how that power of manifestation thing happens? Pretty soon, like, somebody else was like, here, have this owl figure. And then another person was like, I think you might like this. It's like a placemat with a whole bunch of owls on it. So I don't know how that happened, but it has defined itself with me.
Alex, what would you pick for my spirit animal? I'm going to allow you to pick my spirit animal.
Okay, this is good. I like this
know,
exercise.
I know.
Molly,
If you do a pig, I'll be
would you?
across
No.
the table.
Molly,
I thought
I
a
would
little
never.
piggy.
No.
I think that your spirit animal is
This is big.
it's a type of bird. I'm thinking like maybe no, not a mockingbird. More like I know.
Can I write a bird down for so that she can see here just in case?
So to see if he gets it.
Just in case. Just in case.
Oh, you already know the answer
no,
to
but
this.
That's-
if
she
he
might
does
recognize.
say that, I
okay.
will come out with my story.
I'm
for
gonna
this.
go with a heron.
Can I guess too?
A herring.
Yes, a heron. I'll tell you why.
Yeah, I mean.
I've got a really good reason for this.
All right.
Okay.
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 When you go into a river, like let's say you're hiking, right? Or let's say
Which
you go by
is
the lake.
something I would totally
No.
do.
Listen to me. Listen.
Yeah.
Like the other day,
Yeah.
I was on the boat, right, and there was a heron right there. Or if you ever go on the towpath trail, right by the water, you see a heron. Here's the thing about the heron, right? They don't give a shit, right? They stand there and they wait for the food to come to them. Right?
Okay.
And they look around and by the way, they're like, I don't really even care that I'm endangered. I'm just going to stand here in my spot, right? Now, Tiffany and I were in Lorraine once, about a week ago at that Jackalope restaurant, and there's this giant dock pier, right? And you go way out there. Man, there were 2 giant herons on the dock, and there were fishermen right next to them, and all the other animals, all the other birds, right? As soon as a fisherman would shoo them away because he wouldn't want them going near the fish, the birds would fly away. When they did that to the heron was like, "No, I'm not moving. I'm standing right here. And in fact, I'm going to start walking towards you until you freak out and leave." And that's exactly what happened.
Well, maybe that could
is
be.
why
Is
you
it
are a heron.
compliment? I don't know what I'm feeling
You're-
right now.
I would never say that.
They're graceful. Really? You wouldn't?
No, I see something totally different. when I
Oh.
What do
look
you
at
see?
What do you
Molly.
see for Molly?
I see a koala bear.
I saw a bunny. She was hopping around.
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what was
What did
your
you
bird?
What did you write down?
I wrote down
Cockatoo.
cardinal.
Oh, cardinal. Okay.
Interesting.
Only because my dad used to teach for the Menor Cardinals, so I have a lot of cardinals in my house because of people.
See.
What do you think my spirit animal is, Molly?
I mean,
as an attorney, that would make sense.
How dare
but,
you? How dare you, Kim?
I think I have to defer.
she has to
Wait,
defer.
I didn't know this was a group
It's
exercise.
not a group exercise, but she's
Why?
just making sure.
Oh, I can't call him that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, whatever it is, I'm sure you've never called me worse. Please, even in the last 5 minutes. Probably.
I would have to. It would be an animal that would be curious. You're always learning and curious. She said monkey. Yeah,
Like Curious
but I don't
George.
know.
Yes, exactly. That's
Yes,
probably
Georgie.
why I said the monkey.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think Christy's spirit animal
Oh,
is?
she's a leopard.
Is that because of the pants she's wearing?
Yeah,
right
or
now?
a panther, but just that kind of motion.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's
Yeah.
what I would say.
For sure.
What do you think Christy's photographer over here is?
I haven't really. I mean,
We haven't gotten to know
I haven't
her
gotten
that
a
well.
vibe.
Well, Christy
but,
knows her. Christy, what's your photographer? You told me your name earlier.
Dawn.
Dawn. Jeez, man, I'll never get that right. Christy, what is Dawn's spirit animal?
No matter what, it would be very creative. She is an extremely creative human being and very
Maybe a lynx.
and kind. She's very kind and very creative. And lynx is first of all, they're beautiful and they just that cat look about them.
Right, but they're always getting in where they can't get. They're very creative in getting to the place they need to be if it takes the long way around.
I love the look. I'm for lynx. That's I'm
So is a
voting for
mouse.
that.
A mouse can squeeze in anywhere
So
they
we're going
want
with
to
a
go.
lynx, like
They
maybe
don't
like
have
an
to think it
ocelot.
through.
I just finished reading this book called Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss, and it's him interviewing all of these billionaires and CEOs
Love
and
that
stuff.
Tim Ferriss.
I do love Tim Ferriss. Anyway, every interview, one of the questions is, what's your spirit animal? And he interviews this one Navy SEAL. His name's Jocko Willink. And he writes out the entire, they have this exchange on text. And he says, I'm asking everyone what their spirit animal is. And Jocko Willink writes, negative. And Tim Ferriss writes, no, really, what's your spirit animal? And Jocko Willink writes, what the fuck is a spirit animal? And Tim Ferriss writes, gotcha.
Oh, all right. Alex
Anywho.
Gertzberg.
Lightning
Guess
round?
what?
Is it time for the lightning round?
It's time for the
Oh,
lightning round.
goodness,
Oh,
Waiting.
Kim's nervous. She just put her hand
Sweating.
over her
Yeah,
mouth.
Oh, it's warm in here.
Do you need to take a break?
Microphone
You
is
wanna
not
do a
feeling
lap,
my
do some
love.
push-ups?
Maybe.
Oh, it's not scary. It's not scary.
Christy just did it 2 weeks ago.
Although I thought I had
survived.
asked for a list of my questions. I
I'll
can't
remind
remember
you.
anything that I.
Well, do your best. Do your best.
All right. What are you binging, Kim?
Besides,
Animal protein.
I was gonna say,
Besides animal
I was gonna say
protein.
supplements.
On TV. What are you binge watching?
Oh, I'm not a TV watcher. But
Okay.
what we end up watching almost 3 times a week, because it's my favorite movie, is Twister. And it's that time of year, so we actually watch it a lot more
Really?
this time of year. I just like the movie from
Helen
beginning to
Hunt.
end. Yeah, I just like all of the pieces to it. The characters that are in there for the comedy relief make me laugh every time. It's just a good combination. But my favorite movie back when I was younger was Dirty Dancing. So that kind of ages me. But yes, those were the 2 that I could think of right off the top of my head. I'm not a TV binger. If I had
Right.
binged on anything and it's not out right now, it was The 100. Do you know that story?
No.
It's like 100.
Survivors of the apocalypse or something like
So
that.
everybody was sent to space because the
Yeah.
Earth was going to be under radiation. And then the 100 are the youngish people who have committed a crime on the Ark. And they are sent down to Earth to see if it's habitable. So they sent down all the criminals, the teenage criminals,
Oh.
to see if they could inhabit the Earth. And there's like 5, I think, seasons. So I'm waiting for
Oh.
the new season. If you want to say, if that were
Yeah,
bingeable,
that's a binge.
that's what I would
That's a
binge on.
Okay. And then what's on your mind?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's a blank. No.
Welcome to my world. There,
Well,
Kim.
honestly, what's on my mind is the visit from my parents next week, this
Okay.
weekend. I haven't seen my mom in the flesh in over a year. My dad, a little less off than that, but still, it's been a while. And both my daughters will be up in town, and my family will all be together. So I'm really looking
Aw.
forward to that.
I love that. Do you have your phone with you? Can you grab your phone? What? No.
All
All
right.
like that one. I think I'm going to add animal. Your
Spirit animal.
Spirit animal.
That's a good one.
Okay, your last text you received. You don't need to tell us who it's from. You just have to read it, and then the last one you sent.
Yay! Thanks for the reminder.
Perfect. That's the one you said. That's
They
both.
said yay, and
They
I
said
said thanks for the
Can we?
reminder.
Okay.
I have an idea.
Yes.
Can we tweak this question for this and all future
Sure.
guests? Okay.
Sure.
So the answer is yay. Thanks for the reminder. Let's you and I try to guess what the text before that
That's
was.
great. Yeah,
Okay.
do that.
You go.
Pick up milk.
Ooh.
Good guess, but no.
I'm gonna guess. Don't forget to take your supplements.
Good guess, but no.
Christy?
Are you coming tonight?
Here, right?
We did email
It
them.
was not you guys, though. No.
John, you got a guess?
Remember the birthday party?
Right? Are you going to be at the party? Nope. it
Okay,
wasn't
wait.
it.
Was it? No matter how weird he looks, don't stare at Alex too long.
That was it. Do you want to know what it was now?
Yes.
Sure.
The last day to re-register my 6-year-old for Girl Scouts is this weekend, and so I re-registered her today, and I sent her the message that said I'm re-registered, and she said yay, and I said thanks for the reminder.
Oh,
Wait,
that's
your
sweet.
6-year-old texted you?
No, the woman,
Oh,
the troop
okay,
leader.
Okay. Whew, okay.
No, she's not texting yet, but she could. She's like fully functional on the iPad.
Of course she is.
It's unbelievable
That's the way they
how
roll
fast
these
they
days.
are learning that.
Well, I'm afraid of what the twins will be around at that point.
Can we get a twins update, Molly? How are the twins doing?
Twins are great.
And we're talking about
My
the
daughters.
fetus is not boobs right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez, you guys.
But those are great too. Thanks for asking, Alex.
Thanks for the reminder.
You can't leave it alone.
Alex is a shade of red, everybody.
For the record, it is me and 4 women here, and I didn't care at all about saying boobs.
No, boobs,
No,
boobs.
boys like boobs. What
Don't
do you
care.
want?
Don't care. She's in her second trimester. The heartbeats are great. And she'll find out at the end of October. Boy, girl, girl, boy, boy,
Awesome.
boy, girl, girl.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
I
we're
bet they're
super pumped.
I bet they're shooting for a boy girl situation. I bet.
You know, it's funny. I think it's going to be girl, girl. I was cleaning my china cabinet, dusting everything, and I collect, as some of our earlier podcast people know, Royal Dalton figurines.
Right.
And I inherited the collection from my mom, and then I get them as I go. But I have 4 double girls, like that I accidentally bought that my mom had bought, and I buy them because I could, I guess, take a picture of my whole collection, but I don't. I'll be okay if they're girl, girl, and I'll be okay if they're girl, boy, but I won't be okay. I'll have to get a boy. I only have one boy. Yeah.
Can we backtrack? I didn't offend anyone earlier when I said boobs, did I?
Oh
No,
my
you're
gosh.
fine.
No.
Are we good?
So
I want to make sure because
Just
I don't
like
wanna,
an attorney.
I don't want to cross
Yeah.
any lines.
No,
We
you
good?
didn't. No,
Dawn,
you
we
didn't.
good? All right.
And I'm
Thank you.
trying to think that
I would have apologized if
the
if I had.
gentleman I told you about, Professor Eugene Shelton, who was big at Motown, that we just had our lunch with at the chamber, who was freaking unbelievable. He was just talking about somebody celebrating something, and it was Lionel Richie, or I can't remember who it was, and all he wanted was a boob cake. So he was it Motown celebrating their 50th?
Lionel Richie just
can't
wanted a boob cake.
I don't quote me on the Lionel Richie part. I can't
We're gonna have
remember
to
who
ask
it
him when
was.
he comes to our
but-
podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
that was a good twin update, Molly. Thank you.
Yes, that's the twin update. Yes.
Okay. You ready for the other lightning round questions?
Alex,
Sure.
they're so much harder than
I
mine.
know.
You're on a
Ready.
desert island
Oh, jeez.
for a minimum of 3 months,
Oh,
and
you gave it a time frame.
minimum could be forever. You don't know.
All right.
You may bring with you any single musician's entire discography, but only one musician. Who is the musician?
Oh, man.
And Alex knows which one he wants you to choose. So if you don't choose that, he'll make sure he corrects you. Trust me.
So my knee-jerk reaction, because that's what this is about, right? Lightning
Sure,
round.
it's lightning round.
The Eagles.
Oh, badass.
Molly
Have you
picked-
seen the Eagles documentary?
No, I'm
on
waiting.
Netflix?
I'm waiting to get that. My internet at home isn't that great, so I have to wait till I have good internet to watch it.
Unbelievable. You're going to learn so much about them.
Awesome.
And if anyone out there has tickets for the Eagles that they'd like to sell me or give to me, call
Or give to
in.
me.
Yeah, call in because I really want to go see them.
Yeah, I've never seen them either, so I'd like to see them someday. Bucket list item.
Dawn, who are you bringing with you?
Oh wow, she had a good one, Eagles. But I don't know. I'm teetering between like somebody from the '80s and like, contemporary Christian music. So
Oh,
Right on.
I'm teetering there.
that's
so
a
I don't
teeter.
know.
That's quite a
I
teeter-totter.
can't answer that question.
Dawn, why don't you just get back to us on that? Okay?
We're going to get in trouble because she's not on microphone anyway.
I know.
Well, and
so.
the other thing is, if I were talking about all music, because Eagles is like, I know it. They have a lot, but like Yanni is another
Interesting.
person that
Very
I might put on that list.
Soothing.
If I'm gonna be somewhere forever, I'm gonna want that kind of music
Wow.
to make me
I
calm.
might
If I
kill
have a
myself on the
panic.
island.
well, I would have to have something. I'd probably make my own music. Quite honestly, on the island, I'm a little jive with the drum and the piano. and
Okay.
Sometimes the guitar, if it suits me. If I had a guitar on my island,
You can fashion one
I
out
could
of
make myself one.
leaves or something. Kim, same island, minimum of 3 months, and you could bring with you any single author's entire bibliography. Who's the author?
Well,
Dawn, why don't you start thinking about that right now? We'll be with you in about 30 seconds.
see, authors are difficult because I enjoy a lot of reading in different genres. Fiction, nonfiction. A to B. I mean, I just can't even pick one. But if I'm going to knee jerk and my brain goes, what would I pick if I had a knee jerk? I would say Agatha Christie.
I'll keep you busy, keep you thinking.
And I
That was a
like
good one.
that kind of story, and it's fiction, and there's always like adventure and detective and a little romance. I mean, I think that gets all of my check marks.
Wait, who is your author, Dawn?
Well, I have to say C.S. Lewis.
See, that was on my list in my
I
mind.
don't- It's been a long time since I've read any fictional. I usually have like about 4 different genres going at the same time.
Oh, my God.
Is that Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe?
Yes, but the last one I read was Miracles,
Which is
Okay.
a difference.
which is a really hard read.
Gotcha.
It'll be a long time.
Gotcha. Kimberly,
Mm-hmm.
what is an embarrassing thing about yourself that nobody else knows?
Gosh. I have 2 pairs of boots from
Oh, I thought we were going with boobs again.
boots from my dancing days of high school when I was on the Bomberettes line that I still keep to maybe someday wear again that will never fit.
Oh, my gosh. We need to
like
get Nancy Santilli to get her,
In
to
the
get
boots.
Kim on the football field during the football game.
Oh no, I haven't done a
Oh,
high kick in years, girl.
It doesn't matter. We need to make that happen.
Can you do me would it be painful for you to squeeze your feet into them right now?
I don't know because I've lost weight, so maybe.
Ooh, all right,
Oh,
here.
okay.
I'm throwing the gauntlet down right
Yeah.
now. I'm saying when you go home tonight, Kimberly Scala, I want to see your feet in those boots, and I want you to do a selfie.
Yeah.
in the
Of how
mirror.
far I could zip it. All right.
And then,
We
in
don't even care
fact,
about zipping it.
in fact, get the whole Bomberettes outfit out.
I don't have the whole thing. I only have my jacket.
We'll
and
get
my
it for
We'll
you.
get you one.
We know people.
We totally get you
Please.
one.
Why did I say that?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Lord.
That is awesome. I love that you kept that. You kept those. That's awesome.
Well, I
Awesome.
thought if anything, one of my daughters could use them as a Halloween costume or
Right.
something, But
And are they the full boots?
they're the
up to
tall boots.
Yeah.
They
Oh
called
my
them the
God.
Nancy Reagan boots because she wore those, right? Those tall white boots.
No, Nancy Sinatra.
No, I'm sorry, Nancy
Yes.
Sinatra. I totally
Yes.
said that
These
wrong. I
boots
knew
are
what
made
I
for
meant.
walking.
These boots are made for
Well,
walking, the
then
white tall
you
ones.
need
Yeah.
to next for the concerts, you need to make sure that you sponsor the Pop-Tarts.
I did that last time, but
and wear them.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But if they fit, so I have to see if they fit. But they're all like cracking, like that
that's
leather is like.
I'm sure they'll fit.
I think what you do is you just kind of get some big industrial scissors and you carve the back of them off.
Right,
And
add
just duct tape. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
add a little material, that flexi material. That's what I do with all my dresses. You'll never see the back of any of my dresses.
Molly wears capes.
She always got a sweater on.
Well, this is so much fun, Alex.
Let's recap. What did we learn today,
oh my
Molly?
Gosh, we learned so much.
We learned
about insurance.
we did about underwriters,
Yeah.
and we learned
Everything about it.
we learned about
That they care
Mr.
about their
Scala,
customers,
right?
clients, customers.
Both members, clients, customers, whatever you like. We kind of wait till they call themselves what they are, and then
Oh,
we.
that's- I
Sure.
love
We
that.
use
Anything,
that.
but not patients. They're not patients.
No, we don't have patience, although
Right.
it requires patience in my
Yes.
job to have
Right.
clients.
Right.
Right. or prisoners.
Right.
What else did we learn, Alex?
We learned about spirit animals.
Yes,
A
we did,
lively,
yeah.
lively discussion about spirit
Yes,
animals.
we had a special guest, a co-host with us today, Christi George. Were you looking next to you? To
No,
see
somebody's
what,
phone is going off,
what
and we're going to get
co-
yelled at
oh.
about it. We forgot to tell you to put it on airplane mode.
Christi George.
How about
joined
that?
us.
A special interviewer.
Yes.
Christi,
Thank you, Christy.
would you? Oh, is that your? Is that your phone going off? Christy, would you like to ask? Would you like to have a lightning round question dedicated to you right now?
Oh yes.
Would you like to add a lightning round question? This will be called the Christy.
The Christie.
Well, not to be mistaken with Christie's, where Alex frequents.
I call that
Or
my I call that my satellite conference room.
Could be the auction Christie's.
Oh,
but
right.
probably
That
not
would
in
be
Alex's
better.
case.
That would be better.
Right?
What are you trying to say, Christy? I can't auction things off at Christie's?
Yeah. Yes, you can. It depends on what you would be auctioning off.
Christy, you are a professional questioner.
I am.
So we should definitely, Molly, what do you think? Can we resolve right now that from this day forward we will have a
This next question.
this will be it'll be
Christy.
called the Christy?
Yes.
All right. No pressure, Christy, but at this point
Look
what
at her
you're
looking at me.
what you're
She's
about to
terrified.
utter is going to be forever known as
I
the
hope,
Christy.
Don, I hope you're getting a shot of this. She's like petrified. She's like a little
Oh, I
dog
think-
with the. I know. With
I
the,
Oh
think-
no, I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Can't wait to hear
Let's
it.
do it.
Let's hear it.
Favorite person from history?
Dead or
Oh.
alive? Doesn't matter, dead or alive?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
All right.
I'd go with dead though. For sure, I'd go with dead.
Do we
Nellie,
want-
make sure we write this down.
Do we want to add any desert island scenarios?
my-
Like nothing like
3 months, maybe longer.
like if you had to be stuck on a desert island,
No.
so
Well,
nothing like that.
Who would you
If
want?
you
the famous
could
person?
interview,
Ooh, I
that
like
would
that.
be more
with-
in my genre.
Okay.
There you go. That's-
Interview. Who
Someone
would be the
from history.
person from history that you would like to interview?
That's
Dead or alive.
That's the
Great.
Christy.
Okay.
There it is. I
That's
love
the
it.
Christie.
Okay.
All right.
What's the answer to the Christy, Kim?
The answer to the Christie for me, I think it's crazy, but I have so many unanswered questions with Michael Jackson.
I hope you get to interview
Wow.
him. Yeah.
That's creative.
That's a good one. Christy, how would you answer the Christy?
No question in my mind.
Who is-
Benjamin Franklin.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Well, I probably would like
That's a
to
good
go
one.
to that kind of person, but my curiosity just gets me going on my choice. So I get
Yeah.
Did you read that biography by Walter Isaacson about him? I'm about to start it. It's supposed to be really good.
No, I have quite a few books about Ben. I feel like Ben is my friend. But
I like it.
Yeah.
Ben Franklin, that would be your dream interviewee.
I think so.
Yeah.
Alex, what about you?
I'm going back to ancient Rome. Yeah, I'm thinking about Julius Caesar. I'm thinking about maybe Marcus Aurelius, and maybe Seneca. They may be ancient Greece. I think Julius Caesar is ancient Rome. The other two are ancient
You
Greece.
are correct.
I'm gonna go with Marcus Aurelius.
Why?
Because he was a stoic, and he was a person who was able to move armies and politics and had all the pressures of the world on him, and yet was able to practice this way of life where he was able to be very Zen-like, and he wrote every day in his journal, and he meditated a lot, and he was the kind of leader, I think, that most leaders would aspire to be, right? Just always trying to be a good, fair leader. I think I have that right, but I'd like to ask him about those.
Do
all
I have
those
that
things.
right?
Yeah. I'd say, Marcus, do I have it right? Molly,
Wow.
Yes.
who would you want to interview more than anyone?
Jesus.
Jesus? Not Jesus,
No.
but Jesus.
Straight up with the
Okay.
J.
Straight up with
Although I
the
think
J.
Jesus
Molly,
has a
just so
J
you
too.
know, for me, it's between Jesus and Ben.
Ben Franklin.
Honest to God.
Yeah.
Well, you do Ben, I'll do Jesus, and we'll have it all covered.
I bet Dawn wants to interview Jesus. Is that
I
true?
would like to, but my second pick would be Da Vinci.
Ooh.
There you go. See, I told you she's creative.
Yeah.
Also a biography by Walter Isaacson. I'm going to read that
Okay.
one next. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Well, this has been great.
This has been
This is
another
great.
exciting episode of Best Podcast Ever. Thank you,
Yes.
Kim, for
Thank
joining
you,
us. Did you have fun?
Kim.
Did you enjoy
Yes,
it?
thank
did?
you for including me. I
You were a
appreciate
very
that.
good
I
guest.
feel
You
very
were a great
blessed.
guest.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Christy, thank you for being our guest interviewer.
Thank you for asking me. This was wonderful.
Good.
And I learned so much from you, Kim. I
Oh,
didn't
thank you.
realize the changing.
Education.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Just
second
the
on our
whole
list.
change and dynamics of the insurance industry, which I'm petrified of the insurance industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you, Dawn, for taking our
Thank you,
pictures.
Dawn.
I hope she has the slimming lens on.
All right,
I wanted
kids.
to plug something.
Oh,
Can I plug
please.
something?
Please. Oh, my gosh, yes.
It's a
So
question we forgot to ask.
Sorry.
I will be a speaker at the Empowered Women Succeed event that's happening in Solon, and it's sponsored by the Aurora Women in Network, AWIN, and a couple other groups are sponsoring it. And my topic is you don't know what you don't know for insurance education. So if anybody's looking to be inspired by a group of women who are doing breakout sessions and keynote speakers for an entire day, it's on a Friday. Check that out, Empowered
could they
Women
go?
Succeed. They could go to the Aurora Chamber of Commerce website would have that located. It's also its own website, Empowered Women Succeed.
Okay. Fantastic.
That is fantastic.
I love it.
Did you say what day it is?
It's in November. I was trying to get the date. November 4th, I do believe. Let me just
Okay.
double check here.
Molly, you working on anything fun and exciting? You want to get out there?
No. Community open house.
Community Open House,
Yes.
cvcc.org.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Al?
I've got things that I'm going to be doing some talks, but they will have been completed before this before this drops, as the young kids say.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody.
I guess here's what you want to do. You want to go to cvcc.org to see what Molly's up to, and then you want to go to gertzberglaw.com to see what our law firm is up to, and you want to go to Skala.
You want to go to redkeynetwork.com to find out about the Empowered Women Succeed event
Okay.
on November 9th.
And you want to go to Skala.
Scala, the nationwide.com Kim Scala website for links to my staff and our
Okay.
service.
Good.
Awesome.
We have a Facebook page as well. I'm on
You
LinkedIn.
know, we're on Facebook and Stitcher and YouTube. We have our own YouTube
And
channel
Spotify.
now, and
Wow.
Spotify.
We're all
See, I
over.
have to find somebody to put me on Spotify and YouTube yet.
Talk to
that's
Nellie.
Talk to Nellie.
She'll
that's
hook you up.
coming.
Christy, are you
Yeah.
working on anything fun and
She emailed
exciting
you.
besides this article?
Cool.
This article is going to be really fun and exciting, but we did bring a new salesperson into
A
Neighbors.
nude?
A new
Oh.
salesperson on board at Neighbors Magazine. And so,
How exciting. You're growing.
Yeah.
yes.
Growing.
Yes.
I love it.
Good. Congratulations, Christy. That's big time. That's good
Well,
stuff.
thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. Thanks for
fun.
joining us, folks.
See ya.